You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network.
I'm Katrina, and I love anime.
I'm Steven, and I'm aware of anime.
But what if that affection could rub off?
Perhaps that excitement in her eyes got me curious.
I could offer up some solid anime.
I could give them a watch, just to see what all the fuss is about.
And maybe, just maybe,
I could learn to love anime too.
welcome to Inspired by a Weeaboo. Hello everyone, and welcome to Inspired by a Weeaboo. I am your host, Katrina White, and with me is my husband, Steven.
Hello, hello.
And today we are watching Furikuri.
We are.
It is an anime where I have tried to get him to watch it before, and he did not take well to it.
We didn't get through all of it, that's for sure.
No, I don't even think he watched more than the first episode.
No, I think we got through at least 2 or 3 episodes, at least half. I'm gonna at least say half.
Anyway, he definitely said he did not understand it.
And we just watched episode 1, and I still don't understand it. Okay, so look, from my perspective, from someone who's never watched this feels like an anime that you have to watch several times, beginning to end, understand the context in which it's being presented, and then you can kind of work backwards and be like, okay, I see what they're doing here. I have no context in which to base this on, even though we've watched, at least I know we've watched the first episode once before. Again, I don't remember how many episodes we got in. I'm at least guaranteeing half. I could be wrong, but I feel like I gave it half. This was complete chaos. I don't know what's going on. It was just one thing after another, and there was no context to anything. You know, dude gets a horn out of his head after he gets bonked on the head with a guitar after getting hit from a Vespa, or ran over from a Vespa with a girl riding it, and then she seems to have infiltrated his family as a housekeeper or something, and then now she's sleeping in his room, and he's like, no, you can't sleep in my room. So I feel like there are some sexual connotations going on, maybe some, what would you call it? I guess, what's the term I'm looking for here? You know, when kids are kind of coming into their own.
Puberty?
No, well, I mean, I guess puberty, but I guess I'm trying to think of another term here.
I mean, the entire series is a coming of age story.
There we go. That's the story. That's the thing I was looking for.
Yes, it is centered around, you know, puberty and that whole dealing with those emotions and not understanding those emotions. And that's one of the things where I feel like the more episodes you watch, the more you're going to see those little things. Like even the horn, that's that whole, you know, representation. That's why it looks the way that it does. And
I will say that I did kind of get that. I mean, based on conversations we've had off air and you know, you were trying to describe it or help me understand it in some way where I could understand it. So I was trying to put that into context. So the horn is kind of like having a boner.
Yes.
You know, and so he's embarrassed by it. He's trying to hide it. And at that age, I get it. I'm a dude.
Because he's 12.
Yeah.
They don't really state that, but he is 12. And the one girl, because it is one of those animes that can make you kind of uncomfortable in a sense, especially if you know the ages going into it, because Naota is 12. And then the girl who was his brother's girlfriend is like, I think she's like 16, 17.
Okay, so let me try to wrap that around, because that was one thing.
Which she might be younger, but yes,
that they didn't really touch on that until the very end. Okay, so when you first see them, they're just kind of interacting, and she seems kind of sexualized toward him, like she's kind of, groping him. Even that I don't feel like is the appropriate term, but she's
being very touchy-feely.
Yeah, kind of getting into his business and his zone, if you will. And he's just kind of like, whoa, what the fuck? So he doesn't know how to react. And I kind of get that. I don't know what that's like. Like, I never had some older girl trying to grope me at that age. I have no idea what that is. Like, there was probably in my coming of age, if you will, there was maybe one girl that I could possibly think of that was older than me that kind of was into me, but I was too stupid to realize it. I didn't get it. I didn't know that she was in. So maybe that's how I can kind of relate to the kid. What's his name again? Nato. Okay, so in that sense, you have someone who's kind of interested in you and kind of throwing out signals like, pay attention, and you're just like, I don't get it. I guess I can kind of relate to him. And again, the boner thing, it's been too damn long since I've been a teenager. So, but I'm sure there were moments where I was like, holy shit, I can't be walking around with this horn showing.
Well, see, the thing is like the relationship between them, because they don't technically have a relationship, like in the sense of, they're not dating. They never technically date or anything like that. But when you find out more of why she is the way she is towards him, unless you've already kind of picked up on that.
I haven't. I don't know what her deal is at the moment, other than the fact that she was his brother's girlfriend. So the only thing I can imagine is that maybe there's elements of him that remind her of him. And maybe that's why she's gravitating toward him, because he's no longer around, because he's playing apparently baseball in America. Do they go into greater detail with that? Like, don't spoil too much, but I mean,
not that I can really remember. Like, it's just, you assume he got a scholarship to play like college baseball or something in America. Okay. Like, I don't know. Like, he went to America to play baseball.
Because you would think something that big, but I can't imagine he's that much older, considering the girl seems to be, like you said, 16, 17, kind of in that range. So he would have probably been 18 at most. So it had to have been college, because I can't imagine he would have just been drafted by the NBL to go play baseball. I mean, he had to have been, really awesome at baseball.
Yeah.
But
which, according to his brother is, absolutely amazing at baseball.
But
that's also that little brother idolizing his big brother.
I don't know. I mean, just no offense. No offense. But how many Japanese baseball players do you know?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I'm just saying.
Please excuse him.
I know. I don't mean anything disrespect. But seriously, think about it. How many Japanese baseball players can you name in the NBL?
You wouldn't be able to name any, because neither of us sport.
I know some baseball players. Thank you very much.
Who? Babe Ruth?
Babe Ruth is one, yes. Nolan Ryan was a great pitcher. Thank you very much. Wade Boggs. We know Wade Boggs.
Because of GMM.
No, I knew Wade Boggs before that. Okay.
Don't let him fool you. He does not sport.
I do not sport, but I am aware of pop culture icons, and they were pop culture icons. So I'm aware of these players, and before any of you say, oh, well, okay, so you know Wade Boggs from Always Sunny. No. I knew Wade Boggs before then. Okay, I know the name. I know he was a baseball player. Jackie Robinson, obviously, he's well known because he was one of the first black baseball players who really made it. I know baseball, somewhat. Just saying.
Anyway, so the first episode.
Yeah.
Like, give me your overall thought, other than, you were just...
Chaos!
It was just chaos.
It was chaos. Yes, because I don't know. All right, so he freaks out. And again, there are elements to it that I'm trying to understand. There are elements that I'm trying to understand because, again, having a girl just wind up in your bed and you freak out. Yeah, I could see how that would be a freak out. Now, I don't know if I would have freaked out like him, but again, we're different souls. So that's, I can't imagine I would have been like, yeah, baby, all right,
Now,
come into my bed.
Haruko is not just a girl. She
I
is
imagine
a
there was something
woman.
else. Oh,
like,
sure.
she is older. She is a whole ass adult.
And they did say she was what, 20?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Well, they were guesstimating her age, but yes.
But even
she
at
is an
20,
adult.
Yeah, I mean, that's adult-ish.
I don't even think they technically have an age for her because I still don't know, which I haven't watched the newest season that they came out or the new season that they are putting out, but I don't think they ever determined if she is human or alien.
Okay. But, you know, like I said, with her climbing into bed and he just kind of goes on a freak out and then suddenly he winds back up on the bridge with the one girlfriend and then he has the horn just pops out and then spits out a robot. And then there's a fight with his hand and a robot that both came out of his horn. What the fuck? What is that?
We'll find out more about the robot later
Okay, so
on.
I mean, as long as I have some kind of context, like, but from a perspective of someone who has no idea what's going on, and that's what I don't know what the hell is happening. Because it was just, for 20 minutes, it was just pure jump. And so, and again, they went and it kind of explained with what was his grandfather? And who's the other guy? And
his father and his grandfather.
Okay, so his father and grandfather, they kind of did with manga pages, which I noticed too.
Yes.
So is this a manga?
I don't know if it was a manga first.
So I was curious about that because that was kind of some clever storytelling. Because I do want to kind of give props to the story from an artistic perspective. The fact that they kind of bounce from different art styles, I do appreciate. I do like.
Apparently the animation was first. It was the 6-episode series was released in Japan in April of 2000 to March 2001 alongside a manga and a novel adaptation.
Now, was the manga like you said? I
don't know. Let me see.
Because I'm curious. Apologies for the water. I just need to wet my whistle.
Wet your whistle.
But, I mean, where they use kind of the manga aspect to go through what his father and grandfather were kind of asking, is like, well, are you doing Furikuri? So I'm assuming Furikuri is jargon for sex.
They kind of make it a jargon for anything kind of inappropriate.
Okay, so
because if you notice like the different hand motions and stuff like that,
yeah, I noticed like I guess titty twisters,
fondling,
fondling, yeah, that kind of thing.
Grandpa looked like he was kneading some awesome biscuits there.
So yeah, it's again from an artistic perspective, there seems to be numerous types of anime styles. You know, you kind of have the super cartoonish anime styles. They have the more I don't want to say realistic, but you know what I mean, more serious art style that kind of pervades most of the series. And then whenever it goes into silly mode, they kind of go to the more cartoonish. Then with the robotic anime stuff, I mean, I guess that's, you know, I guess it goes into the more serious territory. So they play around with a lot of styles. And then with the manga pages where they were explaining Furikuri, it was interesting. But again, it's so chaotic, bouncing from one thing to another. It's hard for someone who is, honestly, I mean, I don't want to say that I'm just, like, I have no understanding of anime, because I really don't want to say that, because I do understand anime to a point. I've never watched it as thoroughly as you have.
I mean, there are a lot of animes that I myself either have not watched or have not been able to get into.
And I'm not. Again, I feel like this one needs deeper dives. I feel like this is something you have to watch, process watch again and be like, I got it now. I got it. Because just from the first episode, I could see where that could turn a lot of people away real quick because, like, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
And that's one of the things, like, when I first watched it originally, when it first came out, I just thought it was a blast.
Fair.
Like, it was fun. I liked a lot of the action-packed animes anyway. That was a lot of the stuff that I watched. So the fact that every single episode has some form of action in it, I loved it. Okay. So, I mean, it wasn't until I got older and, like you said, watched it again and again and again and again that I started noticing the ties into, you know, the coming of age and the puberty and everything else. And that's where I say it's definitely got that deeper meaning.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you pay attention to it, especially if you know coming into it what it's about, and that it's not just some crazy action-packed anime, then you're able to really start to notice them.
And I'm really trying because we, again, like I mentioned, we did have this conversation about kind of its meaning. But, man, it's hard to try and kind of put perspective on something like that when it just feels like chaos. Now, granted, I could kind of use this as a metaphor that the chaos is that. Mm-hmm. How you feel coming of age. It feels like chaos. So maybe that's how I need to kind of put my perspective in place for the episodes going forward is the chaos is a metaphor for going through puberty. It's just, you don't know what to expect. Everything just feels like it's chaos, and you're trying to grapple with it, but you don't know what's going on. You don't know how to deal with it, and you just kind of feel, you know, out of touch. Like you can't really get a grasp on it. So perhaps maybe that's the aspect that I need to kind of view, but yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Well, are you ready to get into episode 2?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess we'll jump into episode 2, and maybe my perspective will change by the next episode. So we'll see.
Well, babe, why don't you tell everyone where they can find the show?
Well, the best things you could do is search your favorite podcasting platform to find Inspired by Weeaboo. We should be everywhere that you listen to your podcast. And if you want to keep up with Inspired by Weeaboo, you can go to pencilpaperproductions.com/inspiredweeaboo. And you can always keep up with all new episodes. And if YouTube is your bag, you can go to youtube.com/pencilpaperproductions, and we post new episodes up there along with these episodes. So if that's easier for you, then you can find it there. But maybe we'll get on to social medias. We don't know how Twitter's doing right now. It seems like chaos, just like this show. Maybe we'll be on Twitter at some point, but until we figure out where that's going right now, just follow us over at pencilpaperproductions.com/inspiredweeaboo, and you can keep up with everything.
Goodbye, my little weeds. Until next time.
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.